And hello, good morning. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles.tv, BOLES.tv, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And I'm playing around with my headphones again to see if I still have that slightly annoying reverb, and I do. And I don't know why. Now, the really interesting part is, yesterday, Streamlabs would not work, so I downloaded, reinstalled. Our bot thing was not working. When you would type a command like this, it would say Streamlabs instead of BowlesBot, so you know, okay, something's up, something's wrong. You turn off the cloud bot. For 5 minutes, you turn the cloud back on, and it still says Streamlabs, and there's something bad going on out there. So today, I thought, okay, that was weird yesterday. Restart the machine. Make everything work together. And it's time to start up Streamlabs again. And I do. Hair is getting a mess. I think the goop might have to go on Monday. We probably should have tried it today because the back is really misbehaving. But the dark background helps. And the Streamlabs icon is gone from the app, which is never a good sign. That means something somewhere is corrupted. But Streamlabs, so I do a search on Streamlabs, start. Okay, so it starts as we expect, but we get a notification saying Streamlabs desktop updater. And it starts updating Streamlabs. Didn't ask me, do you want to update Streamlabs? Do you want to restart Streamlabs? Do you want to do it later? It just did it on its own. So I thought, oh no. Well, it was early though. It was like 8:25. So I thought, if this is going to go in a bad direction, at least I have enough time to restart it and redo whatever again. And then the updater stops and Streamlabs presents itself. It's now 1.10.0. Yesterday, after I did a download on a new update, it was 1.09 point something. So the first thing I notice is that it starts. The icon is still missing. I check my music. Looks like it's there. I check my microphone. Testing, 1, 2, 3. It looks like it's there. It looks like it's working. So I thought, well, now what do I do? Ho ho! Mr. Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, checking in from Florida. For what it's worth, Trader Joe's has a hair serum, shea butter and coconut oil hair serum, it's called. And they claim it's good for all hair types and is quite healthy, so they claim. Well, I hope that the monster who is telecommuting today in the other room is not listening, because she'll go to Trader Joe today and buy that. Which might be good and might be bad, I don't know. See, I have very fine rabbit hair. So anything that makes your hair thicker or glorifies or oils up your hair really messes me up. But I'm going to write this down because the monster will want to know about this. A shea butter and coconut oil hair serum. Hair serum. So it's always hard to find a good shampoo. Usually just baby shampoo is pretty good for baby hair like I have, fine baby hair. But there's some kind of argan oil thing that I found on Amazon that works okay. Oh, now we have a quote that Mr. Gordon is quoting. Trader Joe's hair serum is notably silky and moisturizing, yet still lightweight. In other words, it helps add shine and luster to even the dullest of mane, all without weighing it down. End quote. They claim. I'm willing to try it. The hair goop I found, which is pretty good, is, I guess, what Tom Brady uses. And I can't stand the guy, but he has nice hair. Something from V76. I think that's what the name is. Lasts forever. And it actually, all I want is for my hair to pose in an acceptable position and then just stay there. I don't want it to be hard and scratchy and gel-like hard. Just, you take the baby fur, you put it in a position, and then I don't want it to blow in the wind because it will go back to its awful position. There is no hairstyling this hair. Unless it's really long and then it doesn't look good. So what else is happening today? So anyway, so I start Streamlabs, and so far so good, which is shocking to me. You always think that when you update software, it's going to get better and better and better and better. And sometimes that's true, and often it's not. It's retrograde, the retrograde upgrade, which takes you back 2 steps and maybe moves you forward 1 step if you're lucky. So the other thing that's allegedly ceasing and desisting today is the Facebook Alpha NFT test. It's been going on for 1 month. The first phase, the alpha phase, is supposed to end today on the 22nd, which I believe is today, yes. I was able to get all of my interviews up and at least 2 posts about NFTs per week. All that's done. I've done my share. Will it continue? Will they discontinue? I don't know. I've not heard anything. You think you would hear something by now on the last day of the alleged beta test, alpha test. But we've heard nothing. But we've been in touch with the beta team, alpha team, but there's no news about anything. And I was having trouble posting NFT updates using the Chrome browser, so I had to use Firefox instead. I reported that, and then I wasn't paying attention. And then when I put up Jana's interview on, I guess, Wednesday, I mindlessly used Chrome, and it actually posted. I was shocked. But, they fixed it, but they didn't tell me. Nothing new. And then yesterday, out of spite or fun, I decided to do it again, just using an ugly NFT of myself that I had, and use Chrome again to test the will of the gods. And I was subsequently defeated. It did not post. So I refreshed the page, it said it posted. It was the white film that goes over the post, which was never there before under Chrome, but is on Firefox. Nothing happened. I did not report it because my latest report has not been answered, so I don't want to overwhelm the alpha beta test people. But if they come back to me today or whenever, I'll tell them by the way, I said it was fixed. It's not fixed. So I immediately went to Firefox out of spite. Half an hour later, reposted the ugly NFT of myself. It posted instantaneously, as if there were no problems in the world at all. And you feel very refreshed. There it is, full glory. Mission accomplished. So now I know I have met all of my NFT requirements for posting something in a couple of weeks. So will this take off? Will it happen? I don't know. I think the way that Twitter does NFTs is very interesting so far, where you can make your profile picture an NFT, and then it has a strange kind of outline on it, octagon, whatever it is, that identifies it as an NFT. You can click on it, get information. It works very well. It would be nice if they also had a banner. You could make your banner profile an NFT and have it be a different shape, maybe. And I think Facebook needs to do something like that, because right now they just have label that says from your digital collection. It just says digital collection. Collectible. It doesn't shine or sing or dance or help or anything. It's just sort of blah. And people who collect NFTs want to show them off. They want them to glitter and gleam and make noise. And I've said all that to the powers that be or may not be, but at least it has been spoken as such. Well, watching the January 6th committee hearing last night, interesting. As they said, if you're a Democrat or even moderately interested in politics, none of this is new. You know all of this. So they're really doing this presentation to try to get some of those clingers on of Trump away from him and set the record for the historical record. So in 50 years, everyone can go back and see that at one time in America, we did collectively elect a monster. A gargoyle, if you will, an American gargoyle. And then you see someone like Josh Hawley, who some say is a little punk, and comes across that way. Nasty person. Raising his fist, egging on the crowd, and then running away later when they get out of hand. And you sort of know, well, a guy like that, you hope, is never going to really be electable on a national level because the reasonable, rational people won't stand for someone like that. And he's not a MAGA person because the MAGA people are Trump people, and Trump is nothing like Josh Hawley. They share similar traits, but Josh Hawley kind of comes off like a squeaky cockroach, whereas Trump has a little bit of elegance to him based on all his years on television. He's smooth. And people ask me, what is it about Donald Trump that he's going to probably be reelected if he runs? And none of these hearings, none of these truths that come out about him, his people who elect him do not care. Why don't they care? You're from Nebraska, you understand these people. And in some ways I do. And the thing is, Trump is them. They see themselves in Trump. Ill-tempered, not highly educated, very opinionated, a big bully. You shout to get your way. Reason, science, logic, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the emotional confirmation of the self that you and you alone are right. And I hope to address that a little bit later today in a section that I plan to call Come to Me, Bend to Me. Now that's sort of a famous lyric, famous song. There are several songs that have that title, but I am specifically talking about the 1947 Lerner and Loewe song from Brigadoon, which is very beautiful, but also a little odd and a little mysterious and perhaps misogynistic. So these people who are radicalized by Trump love him because they love themselves. He is the incompetent who has risen to a position of power, which is what they all want. Why do poor people vote for Republicans, for rich Republicans? Well, because trickle-down theory. They're rich, they're successful, let them keep their money because one day I'm going to be rich like them too. That's the dream they sell. Not the realistic dream of surviving every day that the Democrats sell. So someone like Josh Hawley, who is a little know-it-all, a pontificator, a phony, a fake, there's one thing you can say about Trump is he tells you what he's going to do, and then he does it. And it doesn't come off phony or fake because, believing it or not believing it, Donald Trump believes what he says. He's not making up things to tell you what you want to hear. He tells you what he's thinking, and you're going to do what he says. That is the opposite of Josh Hawley. It's sort of similar to Ron DeSantis. But if you had to pick between a Ron DeSantis and a Josh Hawley, you would always pick Ron DeSantis because at least he is a guy who makes decisions and stands by them. Josh Hawley, you can't trust anything he says. And if you had to pick between Chris Christie, former governor of New Jersey, and Ron DeSantis, you'd pick Chris Christie. Because Chris Christie is a hardcore Republican, but he is at least on some level reasonable, very smart, and not always cruel as his first method of rationalization. He does appear to try to be fair. But there are pundits and people who know and say, oh, no, Josh Hawley's the next big thing. He's hot. Oh, he's going to be it. He's the future of the GOP. That's going to be bad news. And this is where it gets really interesting, where Trump, I guess this week, was calling Wisconsin, saying, overturn your election. He doesn't care. He knows he's untouchable. I do not believe Merrick Garland will touch him. He's too scared. He's hiding behind the DOJ. He's hiding behind Bill Barr's policy of not indicting during the election cycle. So the criminals win. And this pops up this morning. And you think, well, of course they are. They think they're untouchable. They're going to win. They have it all set up. They've rigged the system. They own the Supreme Court. They own the states. Now that Trump lost, and Trump, or whomever, DeSantis, Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton, they're in. And the Democrats have stood by and done absolutely nothing to stop this. Hey, Trump's inner circle, secretly making plans. Well, is it that secret if we're reading about it? To fire thousands of government employees if he wins in 2024, a report says. And Gordon says, firing thousands, how they make America great somehow. And you know, if they can't fire them because they're government employees, but they're going to fire them anyway and say, sue us, and they will sue, and it's going to take 3 or 4 years for it to wend its way through court, and by that time they will have won, in a sense, because all of their sycophants are in place. And here's the plan. This is out there late. Oh, it's a secret. Oh, sure, it's in Business Insider. It's a real secret. Trump's allies are secretly drafting plans in case he wins the presidency in 2024. This includes plans to remove potentially thousands and thousands of defense and intelligence employees. The plan will be to replace them with people loyal to Trump, the report says. Well, is that isn't really very newsworthy and not very secret. But the fact they're bringing it out now is sort of a good thing because it's really important. Members of former President Donald Trump's inner circle are secretly drafting plans to fire thousands of government workers and replace them with loyalists. Sources close to Trump told Axios the plan includes people who work in national security and intelligence, including the Justice Department, FBI, State Department, Department of Defense, and the Civil Service. So you fill all these roles with incompetent Trump sycophants, and none of them know anything, and none of them care to do anything, and they're all going to just default to Trump, and he'll decide everything. He wants to be president for life. Absolutely his plan. Trump wants to target the top levels of the DOJ and the FBI and woke generals at the Pentagon, which I find incredibly impossible to believe. as well as clean house of the intelligence community. So they're taking names. They have a secret list that they're working on right now. You can't see the list, but the list exists, Senator McCarthy. Axios based its reporting on interviews with more than 24 people who are close to Trump, as well as other sources that know about the plans that Trump allies are putting in place if, in fact, he becomes president again. Before and during his presidency, Trump repeatedly criticized a so-called deep state for trying to frustrate him and his goals. And that's the story. As someone said, I'm not saying it was me, as someone said recently of Ivana Trump's death, the wrong Trump died. And I find that very prescient, very interesting. And really the only way out of this, really, is if something, whatever that might be, happens to Mr. Trump and he doesn't run again. A health issue, he's indicted, the party finally turns against him. But if none of that happens, is he going to be stopped? Nah. Gordon confesses, hey, that was me. I mean, I quietly said it, but I definitely said it. There was a lot of hope that day. Trump died. Oh. Because that really is, that sort of demise is a clean way out of this mess, where everybody can save face, pretend it never happened, which is what will happen when that day comes, as that day comes for us all eventually. And we try to figure out how to move on from here. And we had just all better work very hard together to make sure we don't get a Josh Hawley to replace him. That guy is nasty. And now we're going to take a very brief blood pressure break, returning momentarily. And we're back from break. This is Bowls.tv, BOLES.tv. You know, it's telecommuting day here. Not for me, but for someone else. So there's a lot of discussion. What did Gordon say about that? Could you get me a little bit more coffee before you go back to that show? And Gordon sent me email. I'm running around with so many things to do and not getting anything done. So Gordon sent me an amusing email. Oh, by the way, the word from the monster in the other room is about the hair cream hair gel thing, coconut oil, delight. The top monster, telecommuting, is, did Gordon send an image? I said, well, no, he didn't. He said, well, why don't you ask Gordon to send an image so I can find it on Monday? I said, I'll ask, but I can't guarantee because the commissioner is a very busy man, sending me emails such as this. This is the image he sent because I can get the email on the live stream. Magnus Carlsen said he won't be defending his title as the world's top what? Competitive eater, Batman impersonator, chess player. Commissioner Gordon, on top of it as usual. Batman impersonator, very cute, very funny. And I read something else this morning that says that 7% of the people, I guess in the United States, can name the world chess champion. To me, 7% is high. I would expect like 0.01% know that Magnus is the current world champion. Because people don't really care. And what's interesting is this whole firestorm now that's going on with Hikaru. And if I had come in second, Magnus would have played to deny it to me. Oh, here's one better. The product page with Trader Joe images. Bum, bum, bum. Shea butter and coconut oil hair serum. Now, the monster is watching and listening. So, we are hoping she's taking notes. Martin Luther may not be the most relevant cultural icon, but by golly, did he know hair. Okay, we're totally making that up. But we do appreciate his 16th century sentiment. Hair is often an integral part of one's identity, one ornamental crown, if you will. Read more. Oh, there's a lot to read. But there it is. That's what she needs, is that picture. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, that's so fun. We once again thank the commissioner. The interesting thing that Hikaru is now saying is FIDE, which is the governing body for international chess, now has a big problem where their champion, their undefeated champion for 5 years, has now said, I don't want to play with you anymore. Does that make him less of a champion? No. What does it mean? You have a champion out there who is the king of the world, and he doesn't want to play in your competition. So you're going to have a competition without him and pick a new world champion, right? But if you know chess, you really know there's one world champion who decided he didn't want to play. So you're really going to have two world champions. One who didn't want to play, and the new one who has been crowned. And if it's Jan, who was crushed by the world champion who didn't want to play a year ago, and he didn't want to play him again because it's boring. So people are wondering, is Magnus going to go start his own chess tournament? Like Garry Kasparov did with Nigel Short? Didn't work out very well. Or is Magnus just truly tired, doesn't want to play anymore? It's a very interesting sort of conundrum that is interesting to very few people in the world, unfortunately. So our delightful friend Igba, I hear from not as much as I did when he was in exile in Georgia, not United States Georgia, but another kind of Georgia. And he couldn't get a job because no one would hire him because he was not only an immigrant, but because he was from Russia. And Russia is the world's enemy now. So no one in a foreign country wants to hire a Russian, even though they don't support Putin and they're running from the war, because it looks like you're supporting Putin by allowing these people to get paid and send money back to Russia. So since our friend Igba has been back in Russia, he's been a little bit quieter politically, but artistically, he is still very much involved. And on a private Discord message yesterday, he sent me this a Twitter thread and said, "What do you think of this?" And it's very interesting because it's something that goes on in all of the arts for always. Where do you draw the line between stealing something and being inspired by it? Now, I admit that many years ago, when I would teach my theater students, I say, look, you see a show, TV show, movie, staging, you like it, steal it, put it in your show. Stealing is good. That's how it goes in the theater, because you really can't copyright a stage direction. I saw a classic Greek drama performed when I first moved to New York from people from Minneapolis. Somehow we're in New York and had rented a theater for like a month and were putting on their show, I think with hopes that it would come to Broadway. And I don't believe it ever did, but it was with Greek masks and long flowing white robes. And they had a chorus, the Greek chorus. So there were like 10, 15 people in this chorus who would respond as the people in the real world would respond to these clinging nomenclatures of warring gods against humans. And the terrific thing that the chorus especially would do is they were the scene changers. And it was all magical. They would move in groups of 2 or 3, they're not even the focus of the scene, but they're over here. So if you're paying attention, you're watching what they're doing over here, because you quickly learn to watch what's going on over here and not what's on the main stage if you're interested in theater. And they would use their cloaks and their masks to reveal new sets, to reveal the presence of new people. And it was just this very smooth orchestration all across the stage of moving people and places without having to move a set or really even change lights. So you know that they were a poor theater company because they didn't have any sets and they didn't have any lights. They did all of the stage movement and scene setting and mood lighting with their bodies. It's fantastic. So I tell my students, look, that's very interesting. Be inspired by it, steal it, change it, whatever you want to do. That's how it works in the theater. And some people get upset by that, but if you're in the theater, you know that's what they do. So our friend Igba sent me this and just said, what do you think? What do you think of this? So this is how this story sort of started to unwind. This person said, my brother, one of the top artists and collectors I know, but I love and respect him most for what he does for the community. And the NFT community on Twitter is very interesting. They really seem to support each other publicly by liking, way to go, a lot of emoticons. But then privately, you get messages from them saying, why would you buy that piece of art from him? Why do you like her? What am I doing wrong? Why are you buying more of my work? It's very interesting. Which I'm sure is how it is for any sort of creative community or business. Why are you buying from them and not us? And usually it comes down to two things: taste and preference. That's what it is. Not always price. Sometimes you like the look, the feel of this over that. And you can talk about people, products, places, things. It's an emotional decision, even in business. And I respect Tim for what he does for the community. All day he works for hard to others. He's a real super rare. Okay, so the English is all right. And that's sort of a hallmark of people who don't speak English, is they use translators, and sometimes the English is not perfect, but that's perfectly fine because we can understand what they mean. And if we don't understand, we can ask them for clarification, and they're very happy to clarify. And a super rare is usually in a collection, people, if it's a big collection, like 1,000 pieces, they have one or two pieces that are one of ones, super rare, rare, uniques, and then all the rest of them. So if you're a collector, you want something that's not what everybody else has, if you can't afford a one of one. This is his Foundation piece. It's so dope. Foundation is a place like OpenSea where you can go and buy NFTs and sell them. And there are others, Foundation.app, OpenSea.io, Known Origin is another good one. I've used them before. They're very reliable. LFG, I've learned, means let's effing go. Kato Ogo. Okay, so here we go. This is where the firestorm begins. Minted on July 19. Created by Current Bid. Kato OG is 1.5 ETH. 1.5 Ethereum. Okay. That's like what today? Like $2,000? That's a lot of money, especially for NFT artists, because right now people are not buying anything 1 ETH or over. I think is not selling very well. Price of Ethereum is rising over the last 2 days. But most new young artists are selling at 0.01, some cheaper than that. I would say like $100 is what they aim to earn. And that's not bad. If you make an NFT an hour and you get paid $100 an hour for that little effort, it's worth it in the end. So 219 responses, 167 retweets, 782 likes for this piece of art. Interesting. Now we get into it. No creative. Art first, 15 years of commercial and fine art photo retouching, turned 3D artist collector, meow meow. All right. So the guy's in the business. And he replies to that promotional tweet about his brother with a bid price of 1.5 ETH. And it's this little emoji thing is shrugging, excuse me, followed by this. So that art collector took this image and did a reverse Google image search, clearly, and found this. Similar images. Oh, look. The sculpture in the NFT is pre-existing and famous and well-known. And that was the entire tweet. So if you're following this conversation, hey, look at this neat original thing that my brother has created, and another collector saying, well, there's nothing original about it all because your brother stole the image and then just put a red sun behind it and a C in front. And says, but in the public domain. Well, now that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I don't believe sculptures have copyrights, but images do. So if you're taking a photograph of a sculpture, if there is a photograph of a sculpture somewhere that is not clearly written public domain, then do you just use it or do you pretend not to use it? Now, if that original article said, hey, here's my brother's take on this famous sculpture and how he changed it, this whole firestorm would not have started. But the way it was presented is this is a completely original piece of artwork created by my brother. Now, I had this conversation with my friend, Nicola, because she was using an image in one of her articles that she didn't take, but it was someone in her group. And I said, well, we need to get permission to use that image. And she said, well, it's in my group. I took the same photograph. Mine was slightly blurry and his was clear. So I'm just using his. And I say, well, that's very interesting because I understand what you're saying, but lawfully and legally, even though you two are standing in the same spot next to each other, you have one camera, he has one camera, you both take a shot, it's the exact same framing, exact same image, it's a sculpture, hers was a sculpture. You have this photograph, your friend has this photograph, and let's say yours wasn't blurry, let's say yours was perfect, they were both perfect, indecipherable from each other. Does that give you the right to use his photo as your photo? Does that give him the right to use your photo as his photo? And the answer is no. If you take a photo with your camera, your eye, even though you're a millimeter different from your friend with the same camera, same everything, you own the image that you clicked with your finger, and you do not own the image that your friend clicked, even though it's exactly precisely the same image. And she didn't like that answer, but she understood what I was saying. So we fixed her image by cropping out the blurry parts, and it was fine. But she still wanted to use the other image. So that was the whole comment. Shrugging, similar images. Why is this unique? Why is he selling it for 1.5F? Now, to me, just looking at this, I think it's fine, really. Then here we go. As pathetic as this is by the artist, is even more pathetic by the collector, the person buying, for not even taking the time to look into what they are buying. We don't know that. It just shows how clueless people are. And this is the original poster who posted that about their brother. LMAO, laughing my butt off. NFT PD. I guess that's an account. Valley Illustration was sold by Julian as Fantastic Moon to Patty Stash for 1F on Maker's Place. Proof, original left. the carbon copy on the right. Now, they look exactly the same. We know it's the same. There was a slight tone adjustment. Is that stealing? Is that inspirational? That is a direct copy. That is really not acceptable in any way. But it happens all the time. That's what our friend Ishida said. You right-click on an image, people take the image, use it as their own, and sometimes they take that right-click image and they put it on OpenSea and sell it as their own derivative. And then they have to go and chase them and take it down. It's a big problem. Copying technology makes it easier. Here we go again. I found the 3D model in 15 seconds. Meow, meow, meow. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Is this in the public domain? Is it a famous image? I don't know. Does it matter? And so it begins, John Wick says. I used to be a photographer. Deforms a work in progress. Are these original art or is this stealing? 12 steps to avoid getting your NFTs or F-hacked. I support creators. Keep going. I am unblue checked. I wonder what's going on. Too many JPEGs. Going to give a few away this weekend, but I'm going to replace them with more. Not sure of the mechanics, but show me some of your unsold work that needs to be in a museum. So that's how the conversation goes. But what happened with this conversation? I guess that was it. We saw the conversation, people putting up their own examples of stuff that's been stolen or inspired. And a lot of museums take photographs of their artwork that they own and they put it on their website and they say, look, you can use this if you want to. Google does that. Google has a whole art thing that they've collected and put on board for display. So my answer to Igbo was, it's disappointing, it's sad, but it's expected because people steal and call it inspiration and people inspire and call it stealing. It's just part of the way it goes. But this to me is not a direct copy. It's to me an inspiration. And if you would mention where this was found, what the inspiration was, and that you're using this, it might not be as terrible. But it's hard to prove that this is, something that's being directly copied and stolen because this exact image was not returned. It was this that was returned. That's sort of similar with the red background, but you could say this one is an orange sun and this is a reflecting pool. It's close enough to not really be a complete and total infringement or even an impingement on the rights. So I don't think that Igbo was very satisfied with my response. I think he wanted me to be more outraged, but I'm old, I've been around a long time, and I know that this happens all the time. And he said it's something you have to fight against, people taking your work and copying it and changing it and then using it as their own. So this is the beginning of a conversation, really not at the end. But right now, we're going to take a very brief blood pressure break, returning in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv. BOLES.television. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Oh, it's been an action-packed day so far. And the other thing that's big in the news, other than the fifth rise of Omicron and COVID, that is very sticky and loves to reinfect people who've already had COVID. Oh, they're saying it's going to be a few days and California's going to have to go back to an indoor mask mandate. Hey, it's artist Dora. Just patted the last chemicals in the... Oh, hopefully that will be it. Dora's work is never done. Added pool. Oh my gosh. I thought we were talking about your poo for a moment, and I thought, uh-oh, this must be related to the black bean hummus that we talked about yesterday. I'm glad it's the pool. I just added the last of the chemicals in the pool. Hopefully that will be it. Dora's work is never done. I love it when you talk about yourself in the third person. I think that's the first time you've done that. But it's a heat issue. I understand. It makes all of our brains go a little crazy. But it's wonderful Dora's here. I don't know if you were here for our conversation about the difference between inspiration and stealing when it comes to art and NFTs. But I'm glad your pool's okay, because that's going to be a lot of fun, especially this weekend with this terrible, terrible heat wave we're having. It's awful. So COVID is still here. The president is now infected. The head of the January 6th committee is infected. And I say, what do you expect? You saw Joe Biden in Saudi Arabia getting off the airplane, and he's like this. Okay. Shaking hands. You look at him, you say, there's something, he's not feeling well. Sure enough, 3, 4, 5 days later, oh, by the way, president has COVID. But he'll be fine. He has the medication and the medical attention that none of the rest of us have access to. So he's going to be just fine. But this monkeypox thing, if you're paying attention, is starting to really terrorize the medical and scientific community. And it's a double-edged sword, because they need to talk about it. They need to get the word out to people. But right now, it is mainly affecting the gay male community. So how do you make this urgent enough that people will line up and get vaccinated, but not so much that you will scare people or bring down hatred and scorn against the gay community that happened with the rise of HIV and AIDS? It's very sticky from a public health point of view. And especially in New York City, where you're trying to get vaccinated and they don't have enough vaccines, and you have to have 2 shots. You have to have 1 shot, and then 4 weeks later, you have the second shot, because they want to really crush this thing very early and right away, and they have to do it in the gay community. And they say it's a problem when you go into Black and Hispanic neighborhoods, and the people waiting in line for the vaccine are all white guys from uptown and downtown. And they're going into these communities because uptown and downtown, where they live, have run out of vaccines. So they go to where the vaccines are not being used. And that's a big problem. With the echoes of the COVID vaccine, where certain minority communities did not want to get vaccinated. So yesterday, I get a big email from the New England Journal of Medicine with photographs and figures. I can show you some of the photographs, but not all of them. The anal monkeypox, I'm going to try to have to skip that because I don't want to get in trouble. But the mouth and the perioral monkeypox, that I'm going to show you because that's what's happening. You need to know what it looks like because maybe you'll see people in the street or you have a friend who says, hey, here's a picture of me. What do you think's going on with my mouth? So these are the figures from this article. The global distribution of monkeypox. So it's very big in Africa, in the United States, in Mexico. Among the 528 people with monkeypox virus infection reported by these sites and included in these case areas. So right now, the worldwide count is 528 people. That's manageable. Reported by these sites and included in these cases. 86, 16% were in the Americas, and 444 were in Europe, Israel, and Australia. And the problem is, especially in America, that this is spreading in the gay community. So, what do we care? Some people say, let the gays kill themselves, like they did with the AIDS thing. Let them get the monkeypox. It's their pox from God. It's their lot in life. But what you don't want to accept, those people who think that way, is these people you are discouraging have straight friends. They may be intimate with women. They may be bisexual, pansexual. And if they're not vaccinated, that's how it spreads. But they don't want to go that far. They want to keep it, oh, this is a gay thing, so just let it eat them up. And that's not what I'm saying. That's what these other people are saying. We don't want to deal with the ramifications of viruses and diseases that spread from one person to another. So here are the interesting characteristics. Median age range for a monkeypox person, victim, going to be a victim of a virus, I don't know, 38 years old. That is pretty old. You would think this would be a young person's disease, but it's not. Sex or gender, (527) are male. So right now, this is, like it or not, a gay men's disease issue, monkeypoxing, with one trans or non-binary. Female, right now, 0. It's just shocking. How many males are straight, or at least identify as straight? 9. Homosexual, 509. Race, 398 are white. So what does that tell you? Very interesting. You can't blame it on the minorities because 75% of the people infected with monkeypox are white. White men. Foreign travel the month before diagnosis, 147. HIV positive, 41%. HIV negative or status unknown, 59%. Use of prophylaxis against HIV, 57% of the infected. This is another very interesting table, and this is because it's the New England Journal of Medicine. They have the resources to go after this information, to codify it and present it, and it's just fascinating. Where is monkeypox being diagnosed? On the internet? At a live stream in a Reddit group? I told you last week, there was a guy who had a lesion on his penis and went into a Reddit group, and the dermatology group, and said, "What is this?" And immediately, someone responded and said, "That looks exactly like a monkeypox lesion." And it was round with a white edge. The middle was darker colored, and in the center of it, a bullseye, the target, was dark black. Said, "You have been, it looks like, infected with monkeypox." They said, no, we did a test. It wasn't monkeypox. And a dermatologist came in and said, "You need to get retested. They need to scrape that lesion that is crusted over and do a deeper historical test of your blood, because that is the after effects of what a monkeypox infection looks like. And you need to go back and contact all of your sexual partners you've had and tell them." And this person said, "Well, I'm a virgin." The next day, amazingly, this virgin reported it back and said, "Hey, I went and told my doctor everything you said, and we did these tests, and you know what? It is monkeypox. I didn't know." And then my doctor looked at the rest of my body, and all over my arms, I had these little bullseye targets all over my arms. I didn't know I had monkeypox. You were right. They were lesions. I had it, 2 weeks ago, and I had recovered. I didn't have very many, but I had them. And again, people said, "Okay, that's good, but you need to go back and tell all of your sexual partners that you've had monkeypox and you may have infected them." And this young man said, "I'm a virgin. I don't have sex with anybody." So clearly he was lying. But at least he got tested, he got the information, and you hope that privately he did the right thing and contacted some of his intimate partners. So a health clinic, not a private doctor's office, 120 people, 23%, that's where they get discovered for having monkeypox. The ER, 20%. So it scares people enough that they go to the ER and say, "What is this?" And they do a test, and hey, it's a monkeypox. Fascinating. Primary care is only 4%. So they don't go to their primary care doctor and say, "What is this?" They prefer to go to a health clinic, which maybe tells you the status of the people, the economic status of the people who are getting infected. They can't afford primary care. Dermatologist is 7%. An HIV clinic, which is very interesting, 29%. And that sort of makes sense, because if you're a gay man and you have HIV or AIDS, you're probably going to a HIV clinic to get medication or help or understanding. And it's natural to say, "By the way, I've heard about this monkeypox thing. What does it look like to you?" The suspected route of transmission, close sexual contact, 95%. Now, some people say, "Well, you have to clean your sheets, and if you sit on the same sofa as someone who has monkeypox and they didn't have pants on, and you didn't have pants on, you sit on it, you could get it transmitted. If they sneeze in your face, you can get monkeypox." All of that may be true on some minuscule scientific level. But if you look at the facts, sexual close contact, men, penis and anus, perhaps bisexual men, a penis and vagina, 95%. Monkeypox is a sexually transmitted disease. But you're not hearing about that on TV, on the news, in the New York Times, not really talking about it. Don't want to talk about it because of the scorn and hatred that's going to pop out of it. Non-sexual close contact, sneezing, sitting on the same cushion, 1%. Unknown is 3%. Household contact, 1%. Contact with a person known to have monkeypox is 26%. The reported clinical features: rash or lesions, 95%. Fever, 62%. In your lymph nodes, swollen, 56%. Just having a headache, 27%. Where is the site of the monkeypox? Mainly on your skin, your arms, your penis, your anus, 97%. In your nose or in your throat, oral sex, okay, it's all right, 26%. Blood transfer, some people bleed when you have sex in unusual places, 7%. Urine, 3%. Semen, 5%. Description of the rash. Treatments used. Fascinating stuff. It's a very deep read. Here are the photographs. Oh boy, I have to be careful with this one. Yeah. Okay, this is just... Let me see. Okay. Just close enough. And these are a little hard. I wish I could make these a little bit bigger, but I can't. So this is day 4, day 6, day 21. So this is what they look like. Day 6, day 11, pustular 2. Day 21, the pustules open. Day 28, the pustules scab over. Day 28, they're open again. Here's a day 11 with, it looks like a pimple. Day 21, crusting over. Now here's what it looks like if it's on your lips. That looks really, really painful. Here's one on the nose and one on the upper lip. On the lips, on the tongue. You can get monkeypox on your tongue. Now imagine eating, chewing, popping a monkeypox, and then perhaps kissing someone, and you think, oh, it's like a canker sore or something. Underneath the tongue, this looks like on the side of the tonsil, back of the throat, and the anal ones I'm not going to show you because I might get in a little bit of trouble. Our live stream. Hey, it's artist Dora. Oh my, Dora says, my neighbor is off on a cruise today. I hope she and her husband will be okay. I'm seeing ads as I type. Ad 4 of 7, and you are paused. Yeah, if you don't want ads, you have to subscribe. Or use your Amazon Prime subscription. Before Gordon subscribed, he would narrate all of the ads he was seeing for us and telling us if they were effective or not. And by my recollection, none of them were effective. They were all insulting and not informative. Dora says okay. And now we're getting into really heavy stuff, and we'll just sort of take a look at this quickly. Characteristics of 32 persons with monkeypox, according to presence or absence of viral DNA, seminal fluid, or PCR. Homosexual. Number of sex partners in the past 3 months, under 5. Bisexual. Over 20. Sites, that's very technical, but skip that. And there we are back into our beginning of where all of this is happening and what we're going to do about it. And is there anything we can do about it? It looks like Canada's having a hard time with 10 infections. And now it's time for our final blood pressure break of the day. We will return momentarily. No ads because the ads just ran. Be right back. And we're back from break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv, BOLES.tv, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, Jana Marie will be here. And on Sunday, same time, same place, same bat channel, talking about disability and American Sign Language and all kinds of interesting topics. She hopes you will join her. Now, we were just finished talking about monkeypox and about health. And then we have this story about Amazon that just sort of blows my mind. I mean, right now, Amazon knows everything about me. They store my images. They know my shopping habits. They know my eating habits. They know some of my medical habits because I use my health card, my FSA card on Amazon. Because it's very easy, pre-approved. I don't have to prove anything. I just buy it, put it on my FSA card, and it's all automatically taken care of. I do not, however, purchase my medication from Amazon. PillPack, I think is what it's called. Because they don't do 90-day prescriptions. They will only do medication every 30 days. And if you live in a big city and you live in a building with lots of boxes and people and hubbub, you don't want to have to worry every month if your medication is here or not. I like every 90 days going to get my medication and not having to worry about it for 3 months. But now Amazon made a big purchase, billions of dollars to purchase a healthcare chain that they say is going to change the face of medicine as we know it, which I find slightly terrifying. What does Amazon know about doctors' offices? I guess their big claim is that it's all going to be telemedicine, and people prefer that now, and I agree. And you don't have to go in there and sit, as I used to do in my cardiologist's office, with 25 other people in a teeny tiny room and wait 2 hours to be seen by the doctor. Now, I understand that's all a big Medicare play. It's all a big insurance play to get as many people in, pack them in like sardines, spend 5 minutes with each of them and make all your money. And your co-pays in an hour are, $400 in cash. I get it. I don't like it. So Amazon.com wants to bring healthcare into the everything store. It might become one of the most difficult expansions in the company's history. The technology giant's acquisition of One Life Health Care Incorporated, which operates primary care practices under the name of One Medical, will give Amazon more than 180 clinics with employed physicians across roughly 24 U.S. markets. The $4 billion deal, including debt, also gives Amazon a larger foothold in selling healthcare services to employers, a competitive arena that the company only entered to in 2019. I think it's fascinating. The company's earlier forays into healthcare haven't met as much as success as some predicted, including a $1 billion deal for a business to ship prescriptions nationwide, and the whole profile venture to remake healthcare that companies offer U.S. workers. Now, if they could do 90-day prescriptions, that PillPack would have been very successful. But I have a feeling it's the insurance companies who would not allow Amazon to fill 90-day prescriptions. That's my feeling about it. Commissioner Gordon says, "Hey, George, your cholesterol is quite high. I can't understand why that is. Your Amazon Go claims you eat 3 meatball subs every week. I think I understand why. That's absolutely right. And sooner rather than later, these insurance companies are going to start using BMI to determine your healthcare rate Well, BMI isn't fair. Well, it's not fair, but it's the one universal standard that you can use to arbitrarily decide if a person is overweight or not. What's your blood pressure reading? What does your period tracking app say about your flow? It's all going to be data, and it's all going to cost you. Hey, Artist Dora says, hello, Commissioner Gordon. Some Amazon observers like the potential of the one medical deal to that of Amazon's $13.7 billion purchase of Whole Foods in 2017, which has brought the company some success, but hasn't come close to the dominant position some analysts predicted when the deal was struck. Well, Whole Foods it's elite. They have a lot of stuff, but it's expensive, and it's really expensive now to get it to you. $15 delivery fee. If you're a nice person, you're going to tip $20. So before you even order an apple, you're in for $35, just in fees alone. So I don't know how I feel about Amazon being my primary care physician, but if it makes it easier and simpler to get healthcare, I'm 100% for it. How will they do an echocardiogram over the internet? I don't know, and I don't care. Just as long as I don't have to sit in an office with other sick people who have nothing else to do with their lives because they're either retired or on disability. So they're very happy to sit there at a first-come, first-serve appointment that starts at 9, and they're there outside the doctor's office at 6 a.m. And there are 20 of them lined up outside the office for 3 hours. You can't beat them. Gordon says, hey, you may be amused by something a YouTuber did recently. He put up images on his website and called them NFTs, but had an amusing meaning to the acronym, I forget. He said anyone can download them, but only for 24 hours. So free art for everyone, but just for a short period of time. I think it got him a good amount of publicity. That's very interesting. I'm readying myself to strike a deal with artist Dora to become her art dealer, where she sends me her images. I publish them as NFTs on my website. I sell them for her. I take a small cut. I then swap from Ethereum into US dollars and deposit them into her bank account. It could happen. Artist Dora says, oh, by the way, speaking of food, I did watch yesterday's stream on YouTube. Thanks for the kind words. Oh, I'm so glad you found that, because I told you I was going to talk about it. But I knew you were busy, and I didn't know if you were there or not. What? Is it real or me? Now we don't know what you're talking about, so you're going to have to say something a little more. Is it, I mean, you're giving me flashbacks to, is it me or is it Memorex? And the kids today don't even know what Memorex is. They probably think it's some kind of pill that helps you think better. You were making the joke, and I wasn't even aware of it. You win. You win the joke's on me, a word of the day, because it is on me. But you found it. You watched it. I'm so glad you did, because it was a great story, and it drove Gordon crazy, which really is usually the point of this live stream. And Doris says, when you were speaking of Gordon being my art dealer, not Gordon, me. I am your art dealer. I will take your images and start a Dora collection and do it all. I have your Jack photograph already there. And I think I put it for 1 Ethereum. For fun. If it's sold, don't worry about it. as proof of concept. And that other awful. Oh, it's not going to work, is it? It's not connected. Maybe I can connect it from this side so I can hide, because it's going to make me log in. That other thing that we paid $35 for that woman on the internet who drew our cat Jack and did such a terrible, disappointing job. And I had that one up there too, because that I will sell to some fool and keep all the money because we did pay for it. Now, let me see if this works. Let's see if I reignite this. Oh, come on now. Here, maybe I have to do it this way. Yay. Okay, so here we go. Collected, created. Okay, so here we have all of our January stuff. This is a hardcore ASL collection, Bowls TV collection. Yeah. These are created? Created, collected. Okay. They might not be on this page because this doesn't look right to me. There it is. Okay, so Jack the Cat by Dora the Artist. Price 1 Ethereum. And there's the other one. Oh, that I put at half Ethereum because I didn't want to insult Dora. We paid $35 for this. Ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. This, however, quite cute, beautiful. So you click on that. Jack the Cat by Dora the Artist. This is all proof of concept, all for fun. There's Jack and his little a porcelain kitty friend. And it's on sale until August 10. Current price, $1,600. I can lower the price. I can cancel the listing. I can transfer it to Gordon. Oh, and there's one by Jana Marie. So as I was thinking on break, then I create a whole Dora, right? Collection category. I become the art dealer. Dora's hands are clean. She doesn't know anything about anything. And then when her piece sells, US dollars suddenly appear in whatever wallet she chooses to use. So there you go. It's one way around the forbiddenness of having Ethereum and the forbiddenness of the Golden Sun saying you're not allowed to create NFTs. She's innocent of all charges, and I'm the guilty one, which I completely and totally accept. Because I'm always the bad guy and I don't mind. And now I'm out of time. I didn't get my come to me, bend to me story, and I didn't get my story about cats living in groups. But that's okay. I'll be back on Monday. And it's been a wonderful, interesting, fascinating week. Time goes by very quickly, and it's more fun when you have people sitting here chatting and talking and going in different directions. So I thank you for being here, and a wonderful day. You can email me if you have any questions. David@bowls.tv. If you have a question for Jana Marie, she is Jana@bowls.tv. On Twitter, super follows. A lot of fun there. @DavidBowls. On Facebook, it's BOLES. On Instagram, we are Bowls Books. TikTok is Bowls TV. And if you're interested in joining our Discord server, you can go here and now. And hey, Commissioner Gordon says, signing off from Winter Garden, Florida, thanks for having us. And we reply, whoops. See you in a day or two, and I'll have more ideas for you. So I hope you have a good nap, a wonderful rest, you eat well, and you feel good. And when ye shall awaken, may your soul be filled with joy and not too much sorrow. I'll see you on Monday.